Oh, yeah. You're right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's just 6 o'clock. It's time to open our meeting. This time we'll call ourselves to order. At this time, I will read a statement. The mayor and city council recently received questions about the 1958 Monroe kissing case. The case received national and international publicity because it dealt with allegations that two African Americans used to kiss three white girls with or without permission, as well as the serious punishment the boys received. This was a controversial case for many reasons. Articles written at the time, as well as in more recent years, show there were allegations of discrimination against the boys and concerns about the girls involved. As with any case, there are two sides, each with compelling arguments. The details of this case are available for anyone to draw conclusions, and we know even now opinions will vary. The city understands that there were situations that happened in the past we would all consider wrong today. It is important to learn from those situations and move forward. The city of Monroe has an extremely professional staff of upwards of 400 dedicated employees who are respectful of all. I want to make it clear the city of Monroe, including the mayor, city council, city administration, leadership, do not tolerate racial injustice among the staff, city operations, or city services. The city of Monroe, the mayor, city council, and city administration are committed to racial equality, equal treatment under the law. Item 1, student art showcase. At this time we recognize Brian. Where is Brian? I saw him somewhere. Your turn, Brian.
Let's see, Mayor. All right. Well, tonight we have the honor of our student art showcase participants here with us. This is a project that we do annually here in City Hall to showcase. It's a citywide showcase for elementary, middle, and high school students designed to encourage and promote interest in fine art. And the showcase is open to all City of Monroe school students, and art submitted is displayed in City Hall for 1 year. And the following works were submitted for the City of Monroe 2016 Student Art Showcase. And I will ask that if the student would like to come up and maybe say a few words about their picture, you're welcome to do that when I call your name. If not, if you could please just stand so council knows who you are. I don't want to put anybody on the spot or anything. First, we'll do Union Academy. And this is Ella Hopgood. Ella, are you in the audience? Would you like to come up and say a few words? No. That's all right. We have next Odalis Bellines. And did I say that wrong? Odalis. Okay. Would you like to come up and say anything about your work?
I'm also fine.
Okay. It's not that bad. They won't ask you any hard questions. And we have Landon Tompkins. Landon, would you like to say anything? No? All right. Okay, next we'll move on to East Elementary. We have Andre Salazar. Andre's been here. He was early today. Where are you, Andre?
Front row, Brian, right there.
Right there. There we go. You want to say a few words? No? All right. And we're moving on to Monroe High School. David Lopez. Where's David? Right back here. Would like to come up and say a few words? No. I might require that next year. How about that? And let's see, we have Cruz Hernandez. Hi. You go take my offer? Sure. Come on up. It's all yours. Just tell them a few words about your work.
Well, I don't really know what to say, but I'd be the first one to get up, or at least for someone else to show up. But I really like trees, so I drew a tree house.
That's very good. You did a good job.
Absolutely, great job.
And moving on to Benton Heights Elementary, we have Kevin Sandoval.
Right here, bro.
Kevin, want to say a few words? No? Oh, come on.
We all know what it is, Brian. We don't need to hear a few words.
Okay.
We know what it is. It's budding artists. They do a great job.
Next, we have Unique Robinson. There we are.
Yes, she is. How talented is that? Cool.
And Emiliano Munoz.
In the back.
In the back.
Right here.
All right. You want to come up? And moving on to Rocky River Elementary, we have Johanna Sanchez. Back there. Okay. Want to come up?
I really appreciate my teacher, Miss Nisbet, for choosing me.
All right.
And we have Trang Cao. Is that how you say it? No? And then we have CATA, Central Academy of Technology and Arts, is next. We have Anna Barber. Anna, we have Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Right here.
No words? No. And then we have Ross McCauley.
Good job.
Nope. And then we have Jeannie Morris. And if you haven't looked at that one in some detail, take a look at that. It's very realistic. It is very real. And you're there. Would you like to come up?
All right.
Okay. Hi. I didn't even know I was good at art before I drew that. Which is kind of surprising. It took a concussion to the head to even realize that I enjoyed art. But it happened, and I've been doing it for 7 years.
Beautiful.
And that's all in pencil? That is
That is
fantastic.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's amazing up close. Well, that's all of our students. We had 19 participants this year. So you're welcome to come by anytime during business hours to view the gallery. It's right here down the main hall.
Brian? If
Yes.
you didn't interrupt, if you would, have them all come up here and line up, let us look at them and speak to them for a minute.
Okay.
If they will.
If y'all all would like to come up here, council would like to say a few words to all of you. Just come around at the front, right up here.
All right, up close. Turn around, look at me.
Great job.
Yeah, just face us, please.
You're very talented.
I would just like to say thank you for
Very nice.
artwork that you do.
Nice job.
And it's very pretty, and it's gonna be very nice hanging in our hallway. It's gonna do a lot for our hall, it'll brighten up our hall a little bit. And thank you for all the hard work that you do each and every year. And I want to thank the parents for allowing these students to come and allowing them to put their artwork in and let us display it here in City Hall. As I said to these folks here, it really does a lot for our hall and a lot for our City Hall. So let me say thank you all for all you do.
Thank you.
Now, does anybody want to say anything now? Anybody want to say anything? Thank you very much. Appreciate what y'all do.
Great job, guys.
Great job.
Great job.
Thank you, Brian. Give me 5. We'll go into the consent agenda at this time. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The City Council uses the consent agenda to consider items that are non-controversial. The consent agenda is acted upon by one motion and vote of council. Items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda at the request of a council member or citizen with the consent of council. The consent agenda contains the following items. Item number 2 is the approval and acceptance of minutes and reports in the 4 sets of minutes lettered A through D. Item 2E is the disbursement of fiscal year 2015 through 2016 City Council discretionary funds. Council members are provided $3,000 each on an annual basis for the disbursement at their discretion towards items that meet the public purpose definition of permitted items that a municipality is authorized to perform. There was one set of disbursements for this period. Mayor Kilgore dispersed 2 amounts, the first of which was for Central Academy Theater in the amount of $1,500 and to the Chamber of Commerce in the amount of $25 for their public policy luncheon. Item 3 under consent is the call for City Council's special strategic planning meeting for March 14th at 5 p.m. This is for the purpose of calling said meeting to receive and discuss the results of a pay study which analyzed the city's compensation program. Item 4 under consent is an ordinance amending the 2015-2016 fee schedule for the purpose of considering approval of a fuel rate that recognizes the direct cost of the service. It replaces rates of 5 cents and 40 cents that were determined to be obsolete and that did not recoup the costs associated with dispensing and maintaining fuel stations. Item 5 under consent is a resolution honoring retiring employee Olin Braid Deaton. And this is for the purpose of recognizing Mr. Deaton, who is culminating 30 years of service as a street superintendent and will be officially retiring on March 25th, 2016. Mayor, members of City Council, this concludes my summary of those items placed on the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the consent agenda will pass. We're going to the regular agenda. Item 6, request to continue consideration of leased city property on Paul Haynes Drive, U.S. Customs Border Protection Agency.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Peter Savalas here, the airport manager. I'm here to present this item. Staff is recommending City Council continue the consideration of the lease with U.S. Customs Border Protection to the March 15th meeting without further advertisement. This continuance would allow the item to be considered on the March 15th agenda without a new 30-day advertisement for public notification. North Carolina General Statute 160A-272 stipulates public notice of an intended long-term lease agreement is required to be advertised 30 days in advance of the request being made to council. This notification was actually made back in January of 22nd, 2016. Section 9 of Section Law 2015-246 changed the 10-day notice period to a 30-day period for these long-term leases. Staff is recommending continuance for the consideration so that it could present it to the General Service Committee meeting on March 7th. And that's in accordance with our proper local protocol for long-term leases. This lease agreement is between the City of Monroe and the U.S. Customs Border Protection Agency so that CBP can utilize the international building located at 3900A Paul J. Helms Drive at the airport for the processing of international flights of corporate aircraft. This lease finalizes the memorandum of agreement between the City and U.S. Customs and Border Protection for these services and ensures U.S. Customs Border Protection Agency that the proposed facility conform with federal CBP standards for these types of facilities. Again, staff requests the City Council approve the continuing consideration for this lease agreement.
Move it, please. Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
This will pass, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 7, state legislative agenda. We'll recognize you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the proposed state legislative agenda for the 2016 short session. As you remember last year, you did propose and you did have presented to you in a legislative agenda for what the General Assembly calls a long session. Short session will start around April the 25th, and the hope is that it will conclude shortly after July 1, after the state approves a budget. However, there's no way of knowing when it'll actually be completed. The items in the agenda are items that you've seen in the prior 2015 agenda. They have not been fully acted on, so we wanted to bring that back to you. There are a couple of new ones. Built upon area was a request from engineering to deal with that particular issue. We've put it on the agenda and asked for your approval of that. Municipal financing was changed from what you saw last year. There were concerns about the ability to use installment financing. There was a bill that was proposed in the 2015 session that received an unfavorable committee report, and under the rules of the General Assembly is dead for consideration. However, we are concerned that there may be other attempts to modify and impact the city's ability to use municipal financing related at particular times when a revaluation happens, or requiring voter approval where none is currently required. So we're asking for council to oppose those attempts as well. There's an item related to local privilege license tax, replacement revenue, business license registration, and protection of sales tax revenue. You may recall last year we discussed the local privilege license tax in the hope that there would be a replacement revenue source. When that was eliminated, the city lost approximately $850,000 of revenue. There were proposals for replacement revenue, however, they have not progressed, but because they are financial bills, they are still eligible for consideration in the short session. There's also a bill that would eliminate our ability to have a business registration system. Currently, one of the uses of the privilege license system was to give the city and city departments information on ownership of businesses so that if there were an issue with a business, the city would be able to contact the owners. However, Representative Brawley out of Mecklenburg County has proposed a bill that would eliminate that ability to do that with a fee attached. Otherwise, it could be done, but it would be for free, which then creates an issue where the city can do something that helps various departments, but the city then is on the hook for the cost of that, which can be significant. We think that the issue of sales tax distribution is over. Senator Brown out of the eastern part of the state has indicated he may not be pursuing that in this session. However, we are always concerned that may be a possibility, so we wish to have council continue to oppose a distribution system that would negatively impact other municipalities. One final item that we've added on that was not, well actually one that was not you've not seen before is protection of municipal authority. And that's a general item that we're asking you to consider in the event that the General Assembly does what it attempted to do at the very end of the 2015 long session. Some members amended a bill on counseling requirements to prevent cities from enacting and enforcing various types of housing and anti-discrimination ordinances. Mercifully, because of the work of groups that we're a part of, the Metro Mayors Coalition and the North Carolina League of Municipalities and other cities, and representatives and senators on both sides of the aisle, that bill died. However, we are concerned that something similar that would, in order to deal with an issue that they are concerned with, for example, the transgender bathroom issue in Charlotte, that some members may write legislation that has the effect of impacting our ability to do housing inspections or deal with discrimination issues. So what we would ask is to have authority from the council to oppose that if it comes up, especially the way it did this past year when it came up in mid-afternoon and was could have been acted upon by the end of the evening. So those are the major new pieces. I'm happy to talk about any of the older pieces or any other issues on the state legislative agenda that we would seek your approval for.
Okay. Any questions? Council have any questions? Concerns? Okay, thank you, sir. At this time, each year we.
For an action on.
I'm sorry, yeah, we need to vote on that?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm sorry, then I have a motion. I have a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Each year we try, the city staff tries to, and some council and all council members, at some point try to walk through neighborhoods, various neighborhoods in the city. We try to do that each and every year, and we, of course, we're going to continue that. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Anthony and Mr. Gazire if they would serve on that committee, and let them appoint whoever they would like to work with them on the committee, and they can set those dates up as they see fit. And anyone on the city council at any time, of course, we get those notices and we can join in at any time. And of course, they'll be working with city staff at that time. So, Ms. Anthony, would you do that?
Yes, I will.
Mr. Gazire? Okay. And if you would, let us know what the dates are whenever you do that, and maybe some of the rest of the council may want to join in those walks. At this time, we'll go to public comment period, and I'll take the comments as they have signed up. The first one to sign up for public comment period, Robert, we'll recognize you at this time, sir. All right.
Name's Robert Yanchek, 513 Everett Street. I just want to make a comment about the state legislation agenda. As the city attorney pointed out, House Bill 530, I believe it is, the one that will eliminate the ability for municipalities to conduct rental property registration and inspections. If you're unaware of that, it's a great program in certain parts of the state, and I think it's a great tool for local municipalities to have. I think it'd be a terrible thing for the state to pull that from us. Currently, there's nothing that allows the city to go into a rental property to inspect it for minimum standards unless you follow a certain number of steps, which seems kind of odd that if you have a hotel or something like that, it has to meet certain standards, but rental property on a house does not. We receive numerous emails all the time from tenants that call us, we're a pretty local group, and say, can you help me with my property? The floors are leaking, there's mildew, the windows are painted shut. And currently what they have to do now is get 5 people to call up code enforcement and say, I want you to come into this rental property and inspect it for violations. Most of the people won't do it because they fear eviction. And I think with the tool that the state's trying to take away, and many municipalities say once a year you have to have your property inspected. It's not a huge inspection, it's minimum standards. The window's open, you have heat, there's no holes in the floor, you have proper wiring, you have a CO detector. And I live in the historic district, and I think all of us know that historic houses are not the best insulated. And when times are tough, a lot of people trying to heat their houses with grills and charcoal and things like that. And personally, I know there's a lot of rental properties that do not have carbon monoxide detectors. So I think it's one of these things when it comes up for vote, or however the paperwork goes, I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you. But we've had a large group call State Representative Brawley ourselves, and I encourage all of you to do the same thing. Let the local city government decide if we need to have that ability to inspect and register property, try and get a handle on some of these properties. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Teresa?
Good evening.
Teresa Eamon. I also live at 513 Everett Street. And I wanted to share something with you about the rental registration. When this came up last year, we met with Representative Brody. And it was very frustrating because I have a hard time hiding my emotions. And one of the things that he said was, Raleigh wants the cities to take care of their own properties. And I said to him, I said, well, if you pass this bill, you're tying the city's hands from being able to protect its historic districts, its blighted neighborhoods, its residents. And by the end of the meeting, he completely agreed with us. So I think that it's important that if we think opposing this bill is going to help the city, that we continue to do that no matter what. Because I think you're going to run into several representatives who think it's a good idea until they start thinking about it and seeing what the long-term repercussions are going to be. Because if you can't take care of these rental problems, it's going to have to move up the food chain, and we're going to be left hanging, because I guarantee you that Raleigh isn't going to want to help us with a blighted home or a problem with a landlord or a tenant or anything else. So when you look at this issue, understand that I think a lot of these representatives don't fully understand it, but their friend thinks it's a good idea, especially one who's in real estate and that sort of thing. And I think we have to make a real solid effort to protect ourselves from the special interests of people who don't live here. And it looks like you guys are on the right track with that, and I want to thank you very much for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Steve Duncan, sir.
I want to come up with three things I'd like to talk about. Well, first, two things. What we just heard about the legislation, I wholeheartedly agree with. So, second thing is, I want to thank the city for supporting the students' art. These days, there's a lot of emphasis on, the tactical and the strategic parts of education. The mathematics, the sciences. However, what I think is an absolutely crucial part of our education for our young folks is to enable them to express themselves through art, through music, through the soft skills. And I want to thank the city for supporting that. Second thing is, I brought up last month about the credit card convenience fee. I'm going to bring it up again today, not as a whole item, but we have certain citizens in the city of Monroe that are obligated to use credit cards. For example, the folks that are unemployed. They're issued, the way they get their unemployment these days is they're issued a credit card. And if we want to talk about fixed income, that's absolutely fixed income. I would ask the city to re-examine that for for senior citizens and for folks that are on unemployment that don't have the ability to expand it to for that credit card convenience. I'm not asking for a blanket for everybody and just write that off. But there's certain parts of the community that needs that. It doesn't sound like $2, $3, $4 is much to us, but to those folks it is. So I just ask that the city might revisit that for those groups there. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Council, have anything? Red, I'd like to say thank you for assisting us with the building down last week, the dumpsters you provided. So thank you very much for that. You always step up when we need your help. Just want to say thank you. If there's nothing else, I have a motion to adjourn. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? We adjourn. Thank you, folks, for coming. We appreciate y'all coming up, and thank you for your art.